I want you, Robert Rose.
Yes.
I want you to choose
Okay.
of these three things
Mm.
that I'm going to give you. I want you to choose what is the most ridiculous thing. So you're going to have to, I know you always want to like cut in and comment because you're good at it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do three things and I want you to tell me which one in Robert Rose's opinion is the most ridiculous.
Okay.
Number one.
Yes.
There are reports out of New York for the New York Knicks championship ticker tape parade that there are people spending up to $1,000 to just hold a place in line for them. It's a free parade, by the way.
Yeah.
That's number one.
Okay.
How ridiculous is that? Number two, as of this recording, SpaceX is now worth more than Amazon. And just for comparison's sake, SpaceX has about the revenue of Nike, $19 billion a year.
Yeah.
That's number two. How ridiculous is that? Number three, there are reports about OpenAI's accounting. And OpenAI is well, they lost in the last fiscal year $39 billion with a B over the last year. So of those three, what's the most ridiculous?
Number 2, and it's not even close. Number 2, and it's not even close. Because number 1 and number 3, I expect shenanigans from OpenAI on their accounting and then for them to be burning money in the money oven. And I expect New Yorkers to spend $1,000 to stand in line. Those are they have set my expectations for that. And
but see, no, but now you're saying that you did not expect the SpaceX IPO to go so well.
I am truly flabbergasted at the ridiculousness that we are willing to give that man. I really am. It's just, we have all bought stock ELON, and we are paying full sticker price for that motherfucker.
I have way more things to say, but I think you just said everything
there it is
to say, and we'll gladly move on. Here we go.
And now, for your listening pleasure, here's Publicis and Rose, covering the week of media, marketing, and digital content news. Take it away, boys.
Everybody, welcome to This Old Marketing, proudly brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. And I'm Robert Rose, and with me, as always, is my friend, my co-host, my pal, a guy who might be the next trillionaire, Mr. Joe Publicis.
Yes, he is. He is a trillionaire.
It's amazing.
ELON, as you would say.
Yeah, and well, in my newsletter, I actually tried to give people a sense of what $1 trillion would look like. And so check this out. So if you had $1 trillion and you merely had a 4% annual return on that, you could quite honestly spend $110 million. You could buy a jet. You could buy a Boeing 737 on Monday, decide Monday night you don't like the seats, the color, the way that they feel, set it on fire, and buy another one on Tuesday. And you could do that every single day and never touch the principal of your investment.
That's a nice way to put it. I've often
that's a nice way to put it. It's redonk. It's ridiculous.
I saw a short one time. It was when Elon went to the White House, and one of the comedians there was just trying to shake Elon's hand, and made his way over. I think Elon was next to Tim Cook or Zuckerberg or something like that, and shakes Elon's hand but wouldn't let go. And like literally security guards were getting a little twitchy, and he says, "Elon, you're the richest person in the world. Would you please do something good with your money?" And I know he left it like that.
Yeah.
I thought that was, but by the way, a lot of people believe that he is doing amazing and good things. I mean, we might not think so, but
well, I think it's objectively not doing good things. I mean, I'm not sure. Look, SpaceX is a cool company. There's no doubt about it, right? There's no doubt about the SpaceX is a forward-leaning, cool, interesting company to go to space with. But that anyway.
Well,
I mean, he could literally be Batman. He could literally be Batman and be doing amazing things with his Bruce Wayne riches. And
he might be. We don't know. We don't know.
You do know. You know. You know. You know. You know.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Have you read
the Triangle Man?
Have you read the book The Infinity Machine?
The Infinity Machine?
By Sebastian Malady. Have you read this? It's a new book out.
I know the book. I have. It's on my queue. It's that's funny that you're bringing it up because it's literally in my queue on my bedside table to read.
I'm halfway through. So basically, for the short story is it's almost the step by step of Demis. What's Demis's last name from Google DeepMind? I'm
blanking on
it. Demis Hassabis, something like that. Hassabis.
I'll look it up.
Now I got to do it while I'm explaining.
Yeah, I'll look it up while you're talking.
So Demis created, and a bunch of other smart people created DeepMind and goes through. So it goes through how they dominated Atari games, and then they'll move 37 and into Go, and then they're at the point now where they sell to Google, and Elon is a part of this because they had a safety committee that Elon was on and whatever. And at that time in 15, 16, 17, Elon was like, we can't have all this power be with one company because this is like really crazy stuff. And he's scared about the future. We could not let AI take over. And then I'm assuming sometime in the 2020s, he's like, well, I have to get on this train.
Well, he got on it with OpenAI, right?
OpenAI, but that was, that was a nonprofit to protect it and give it to the people and whatever. But that had since changed.
Yeah.
So
Demis Hassabis.
Thank you.
Yeah. You know what we need? We need, like Rogan has. We need to be able to go, Jamie, look that up for us, would you?
Maybe we should just get a Jamie.
Yeah.
Is that a thing we can do? I mean,
no.
Do we have budget?
We can't afford that. We can't afford
budget.
We have no
Maybe
budget.
We'll ask HubSpot to be.
Oh, I'm sure they'll come forward.
They could find. I mean, they have plenty of people that work there named Jamie. I mean, could make it happen. It could happen. So
that is true.
And by the way, I just want to send out a little. I mean, we're whether or not you see this live, we are recording it live. I'm getting pelted. I don't know if you can even hear it.
No,
there is a storm that's coming. If water just comes down onto my head, the roof gave way.
That's nice.
This is where I'm at.
That's lovely.
Cleveland, Ohio.
Houston is getting the same thing. The south of Texas is getting the same thing. They're getting just flooded out. It's like crazy the amount of rain. I wish we could have some of that rain.
Well, I mean, but you're in Los Angeles. So
where it stops. I mean, it does not rain after June, right? Once June 1st hits, we're done with rain until the end of the year.
What do you do? Do you put on a sprinkler in the backyard and run through it? I mean, like what? what do you
Pull out the slip and slide?
I mean, every human has a need to get, rained on. Small pellets of water hitting you. So you must.
Rain keeps coming down all over me. Well, Peter Gabriel for you? Yeah.
Oh, Peter Gabriel?
Yeah.
Peter Gabriel is one of the greatest artists.
100%. Yes. I love that. I was just listening to that album actually over the weekend.
If you had to choose, would you choose Peter Gabriel or Phil Collins?
What do you mean? To front Genesis or just as a general artist?
To front Genesis.
To front Genesis, I think actually. So I know this is going to be an unpopular comment. I actually prefer Phil Collins for Genesis. Yeah. But they were great. I mean, Lamb Lies Down on Broadway today is one of my favorite albums of all time. So, but
it's right. It's probably a really good example of a front person splitting and both being better off.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think
they both created.
Yeah. Well, Peter Gabriel wanted to do sort of his, kind of more prog than rock, and Phil Collins was definitely pop. I mean, you know, a lot of people that love Genesis blame him for sort of making Genesis a pop band instead of the prog rock band that they were. But I think you're exactly right. I think Genesis was a better band with Phil up front. And I think Peter Gabriel, no disrespect to him because he's amazing, was better on his own. Yeah.
In your eyes, the light, the heat.
Your eyes.
All right. Speaking of your eyes,
Yes. Oh,
which has nothing to do with our show.
We got a good show. We're going to talk about the government and how it did a rug pull for Anthropic and pulled Fable and Mythos from the models that we have access to. Then we'll talk about Fox. They bought Roku for $22 billion. That is very interesting given what's going on with Paramount and all the rest of the streamers out there. Then we'll talk about the social media ban in the UK. It might be the strongest ban yet. We'll then get to our winners and losers where I'm going to talk a little bit about Publicis and a campaign, or not a campaign, a piece of content that they've created on the eve, as it were, of Cannes Film Festival. We'll talk a little bit about that. Joe will have the marketing winner that is Carvana. We'll get to our Rants and Raves, where I'm going to have some commentary over, let's just call it the new Cannes Lion category for AI awards. And I have some thoughts for the panels there at Cannes. And then you're going to talk about Swedish schools. Swedish schools.
No, yeah.
Swedish schools. I'm actually doing a Dutch accent there.
Swedish meatballs, IKEA, and all the rest of it. So is it okay? Serious question, because I always say it differently. Isn't it Cannes? Or
no,
is it Cannes?
It's Cannes. Yeah.
If you're a Star Trek fan, it's Cannes. I know that
it actually is Cannes. Yeah, it is the Cannes Lions.
In
Cannes Lions. Yeah.
So if you live on the French Riviera, you would call it Cannes.
Yeah.
Why do I want to say Cannes? Because
I don't know.
My Star Trek
probably
influence?
Because of Jim Kirk. Yeah, I think Jim Kirk gave you the
James Tiberius Kirk.
Con. One of my favorite T-shirts has him on the front going con.
Speaking of science fiction, I did see Disclosure Day. Did you happen to see it?
You saw it? That's awesome. I didn't know it was out. I didn't know it was out.
It's out. It's out.
Great?
It's done very well.
Oh no, shit.
I would recommend seeing it. I think they did a good job with it. Afterwards you're like, I don't know why they did that or why don't they do that. It was interesting.
Okay.
I haven't thought much about it since.
Yeah.
So, but I did really enjoy my AMC popcorn.
Yeah, that's always good.
So that was the best part of it.
I
would give it a solid 7 out of 10.
Okay. All right.
So it's definitely worth seeing if you want, but not.
Okay.
I got
a rough, there was a rougher review than that I saw. So
yeah, I think Emily Blunt plays a wonderful role. So if you want to see a really good performance,
I heard there's not enough of her, basically, as I heard. That's the problem.
There could be more.
Yeah.
There could be more. But I mean, I'm an Emily Blunt fan, so
yeah, for sure.
I mean, that's the only reason that I would see. What's the Meryl Streep one? The
Devil Wears Prada.
Devil Wears Prada. I would see that for her, but she doesn't. I don't think she has a major role in that. So I'm
in Devil Wears Prada.
Flummoxed. Yeah, she's not. She's
a major role in it. She's one of the leads in that.
She's the third lead.
Well, yeah. You
have Anne Hathaway and Meryl Streep.
It's an ensemble, yeah. But speaking of Anne,
it's Cannes ensemble.
Cannes ensemble.
All right, let's go. Let's talk marketing.
All right, let's get to it here. Our first story is going to come. Everybody in the world is talking about it, but we're going to pull for the show notes a TechCrunch article because it's got some interesting sort of a more interesting take, I think. The headline here is Anthropic safety warnings may have just backfired. The government has pulled the plug on its most powerful AI. And it's got a picture of Amadei. Does Amadei look like he's gained a little weight? Like he looks a little
in this picture. Yes. in this picture. He absolutely does.
I saw him at the G7 and he looked back to his thin, svelte self, but he looked like a little puffy there, but maybe that was just the picture. Anyway, the U.S. government on Friday ordered Anthropic to immediately shut off access to two of its most powerful AI models, Claude Fable 5 and Claude Mythos 5, citing national security concerns. Anthropic announced on X that it has complied, but made clear it thinks the government got this one wrong. The directive, which Anthropic said it received on Friday, 5:21 p.m. Eastern Time, which was literally just hours after we aired last week, forces the company to disable both models for all users worldwide, not just the foreign nationals the government export control was nominally aimed at. And basically, the reason it forms that is, by the way, is because they basically said you have to make it not available to anybody who's a foreigner. And there's like, okay, really, there's no way to do that unless you make it unavailable for everybody. It's like, we can't ID check, before the computer. So anyway, why does any of this matter, says the article? Well, Mythos is Anthropic's most capable AI model, one the company previewed in early April and has kept tightly restricted ever since because of what Anthropic described as its exceptional ability to find security vulnerabilities in software. According to Anthropic, Mythos identified flaws in every major operating system and web browser it tested. So rather than release it broadly, the company launched a controlled program called Project Glasswing. We talked about this on the show, actually, sharing it with roughly 50 vetted organizations, yada, yada, yada. It goes through all of that. And basically, Amazon at some point called Besant, as I understand it, our secretary, Treasury Secretary. He's Besant's Treasury Secretary, right? Commerce. But anyway, he called Scott Besant and basically, and Amazon was like, hey, you got to turn it off. And then the government went, okay, yeah, you got to turn it off. And Anthropic went, all right, fine, we'll turn it off. So,
which is crazy because Amazon is an investor in Anthropic.
Yes.
Which makes no sense. Like, why would they?
It does if well, anyway, what is your take on this? Because I definitely have a take on this that is kind of the opposite of what TechCrunch came to the opposite.
All right. So I do have a take on it, but I have to tell you, be honest, when I first heard about the whole, like, you can't show it to foreigners thing, I thought of the band Foreigner just be like on their computers working with Fable. And then all of a sudden they're like, dude, what? Not Foreigner, foreigners. Anyways, that's just a bad joke.
It's a good bit. It's a good bit. That would make a funny video, actually.
So what I was trying to think about, obviously there's implications for marketers, but if
I want to know what love is. Sorry.
This should just be a music episode.
Yeah.
We would have been better off. You have seemingly you have a lot of enterprises out there that are trying to figure out their AI stack, if you will, and they're trying to get their collective stuff together and do this. And then when you have an entity coming in, which obviously Anthropic pulled the whole thing because, to your point, they can't just identify who the foreigners are that the government told them to do. It sort of brings a new riskiness into figuring out, I don't know if you call it an AI stack. I don't know what you would call it, but let's just say that you're an enterprise and you're putting everything into Claude. That's a huge risk. Like, I don't think you can do that with what's going on and having this whole thing be as unstable as it is and be confident that, we're going to put these processes together and that AI programming or that company, Claude or Anthropic, that you're working with, or OpenAI, because it could happen to them too, are going to be there. We don't know that. So this could be, I mean, we talk about rented land a lot. This could be like the biggest rented land play ever, but we're not talking specifically about content. We're talking about the technology that's going to ultimately run your marketing stack, if you will. And so that's what I thought of. I don't know if that's right, but that's the first thing I thought of, where you can't be dependent on a platform if this stuff is going to happen. And maybe we've just hit the tip of the iceberg with this thing and we've got more to come. I don't know. What do you think?
I think this is so I've talked before about the prowess of Anthropic's comms team and the way that they have been messaging and creating scarcity and creating the just chef's kiss messaging on the way that they've been going since
Which
November.
by the way, but by the way, seeming to be the only company in this space that actually has any kind of messaging strategy.
That's right.
Now
That's
you
right.
may go. Yes,
Yeah,
go ahead.
exactly. Now you may go. Yeah. So, but I think this is them taking a big swing, and I believe this is all theater. I believe it is all theater, and I believe that Anthropic is 100% fine with this, whether it was intentional or not. And I believe it was actually intentional, because I believe that there's a reason that it was Amazon, to your point about the investment.
Oh, this
that-
is like
that-
a real
that-
conspiracy thing you got going on.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's conspiracy as much as it is just them totally trolling OpenAI and totally using. I mean, if anything, this government has been so easily trolled and manipulated to do exactly what the big tech companies want them to do. I mean, it is not hard to make this government do exactly what you want them to do. And I think they have created, when they created this whole Project Glasswing thing, they created this mystery around this new model that would get released. They release it to the public with little fanfare, by the way. It was, just one day I opened up Claude and there it was. Now I had access to Fable. Tried it out. It's awesome. It's really, really good.
How awesome is it? Like,
well, I didn't get a chance to really run it through its paces, but it's decidedly better. It was decided. I have sort of a series of tests, mostly in the research and the pressure testing, and sort of looking at strategy sort of prompts that I sort of run the new models through to see what it comes back with, how sycophantic it is, how all that kind of stuff. And my early testing was that it was really quite good. It was it was very, very interesting, the results I was getting back, and I was like excited to use it. Now, here's the thing: it basically said, "Hey, you're going to use twice as many tokens to use this thing," right? So it's an expensive. So I'm on the Pro plan or whatever it is, or Max or whatever the heck it's called, but it's the $100 a month version. So I pretty much don't ever run out of stuff, given how much I use AI. But it looked really good, and then they pull it away. And I think, honestly, I think this is a short-term thing through the summer. Basically, we get into fall, we get into this sort of season of where they're going to start doing the run up to their IPO. I think this is all part of a very planned cadence of announcements and messaging and content that is going to build excitement toward their ultimate IPO. I think it's just masterful is what's happening here. Now, that goes against everything else that you're seeing out there. Like the TechCrunch article, the reason I picked it is because they think it's actually the Glasswing thing was marketing. They sort of agreed with us that the Glasswing thing was marketing. And by the way, Sam Altman thought it was marketing as well, basically building excitement. And they think it's that coming back to bite them in the ass. I don't think it is. I think they had every intention of not necessarily not making this public, but so this is the part that I'm a little on the fence on. Like, did they really intend to do it this and release it and then pull it back? But that would not surprise me. So there you go.
Well, I mean, your theory holds, since Amazon has every reason to want Anthropic to win.
Right. That's right.
So why go? And what's interesting, and this is, I don't know if I was listening to Hard Fork podcast talk about it or whatever, but apparently the findings that Amazon found were known. It's not like it was a big deal. I mean, it was.
No, exactly. It was all about jailbreaking,
right?
right?
Yeah. This has been going on for a while. It's not like this was a fable or a mythos thing. This is just, okay. It's so
this has been widely available in the models for a while, this whole jailbreaking idea.
Yeah.
And so they had actually, Anthropic, if you believe them, and I tend to, if you believe them, what they said was basically, hey, listen, we knew about this. We purposely made it safer because of that. That's why we decided, but then you go, okay, but So I just think it's masterful messaging is what this is. I think they're doing just a great job of showing that they care about safety, that they care about this thing, but they're also out there with the most leading model, frontier model out there. I just think it's, I really do believe, if it's not, this is a big dumb mistake, but I don't think it is.
I've used Claude before. I don't currently have a subscription to Claude, but in us covering Glasswing and then Mythos and then the move into Fable, it's the first time I actually desperately wanted to get a subscription. Like, I'm like, they whatever that marketing is, I'm like all in. I just, it makes you want to love Anthropic. Yeah. But to your point about costing double, I immediately thought about Dragon Slayer. Remember, like, was it Dragon Slayer or was it Dragon Quest? The one, it was the video game.
Yeah, where it was a video, it was a cartoon, and you basically had to memorize the moves. And if you didn't memorize the moves, you were going to lose every time.
But it was the different part when I used to go to Gold Mine in Sandusky, Ohio, and play video games. And the big thing about that was it was 50 cents. It was double any of the other machines. So I had to have 2 quarters. So basically, Fable is 2 quarters.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's exactly right. And you have to know the right moves. You got to know the right moves. Yeah, that is exactly right.
So good.
All right. Hey, we should pay. Speaking of 2 quarters, we should put our 2 quarters.
Oh my God.
To use.
That's too perfect, actually. This is our June.
This is not the last week. This is not the last week. Yeah, we
got no. We have 1 more week after this, so we're good. So here we go.
Oh, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, we had a dream daddy, real gone and pure. Just a couple hip cats with a podcast cure. No commercials cutting up a hot little show. Just a little bit of Archie dig daddy. We was prowling the alley with a stand-up bass beat. 2 stray cats jabbing on a one-way street. Then a wheeler with a rent come knocking loud. Bills was piling up like a Memphis crowd. Mama said, boys, get a real career. So we slicked back the hair and we shifted gear. We're paying the bills, paying the bills, paying the bills. Go, cat, go. Sold our souls to the highest bidder. Now we're sitting pretty, ain't no quitter. HubSpot, honey, hit us with that bread. We sell out, sweetheart, off our hip little heads.
Have you heard about this thing called AI search? Yeah, when a buyer asks AI for a solution like yours, does your business come up? Most companies have no idea. And by the time they find out, they've already lost the deal to someone who did. HubSpot AEO helps you show up in those moments with the right answers that buyers are looking for. Before the first click, before the first form fill, that's the moment HubSpot AEO is built for. Check out HubSpot.com, the agentic customer platform for growing businesses. Are you ready for a 7-day weekend? Well, from self-proclaimed anti-workaholic Laura Anderson comes a brand new podcast called The 7-Day Weekend, your weekly dose of business, finance, and side hustle motivation. You want to learn how to make $10K a month from the comfort of your own home? Laura's got you. Looking to break out of your 9-to-5 and start a new business venture? The 7-Day Weekend is the place to begin. Tune in for weekly episodes featuring a mixture of guests and Laura's hard-earned tips that'll teach you how to build the digital tools necessary to build your own 7-Day Weekend. You can find 7-Day Weekend wherever you find your local pods.
HubSpot, baby, you're the reason why 2 old cats can still get fly. Paying those bills. Paying those bills. Go, cat, go. Woo! Well. Turns out the dream had a price tag, daddy-o. Now stick around. We got a hot little word from our sponsors coming up.
I like the I just noticed the Bill Be Gone
Yeah,
aerosol
they'll be gone.
that
Yeah,
says it probably works.
yeah, it probably works. Yeah,
I
yeah.
I
How
wish
about that?
more of the marketing would say that.
Yeah.
It might work.
And
It might.
the full version of that video is there is a whole sequence where I would normally put the ads, or where I put the ads. There's a whole sequence in there where you and I invent this machine. It's got a rubber chicken that squirts something. I don't know what. And it's basically, oh, we're selling it door to door. It's just so good.
By the way, you can see that on our This Old Marketing channel.
Okay.
Isn't that the one? Yeah, this is the one. Yeah, so we put 2 of the full videos. If you go to This Old Marketing on YouTube, you'll see a playlist that has 2 of your last 2 videos.
Yeah,
are on there, and they're the full videos.
Yeah, without the ads. Yep,
and they're lovely.
Yeah,
we put 1 or 2 of them on LinkedIn, and people
seem to like it.
People love them. Yeah, we're getting a lot of the ones from the previous one where they wondered why I wasn't wearing orange. I was wearing purple, and I said, I don't question the Robert. I don't question his creative motivations. You just accept.
Here's the honest truth. I don't have a lot to say in that. The way
that's even better.
The AI kind of is the boss in those situations, right? Because I can ask. It often does not comply. And honestly, the whole point of this is the ridiculousness of it and sort of not focusing too hard on the whole situation. So yeah,
I think that's totally fine. But it's just weird that, that's something I will never, like, I always am just known for orange. It's just a thing. I'll never, even like today, like somebody will say, Joe, you weren't wearing orange on the podcast again today.
Yeah, which you are kind of with the hat, but
sort of with the hat.
Sort of with the hat.
All right.
Hey, did you see the video? Sam Harris talking about AI and content.
I did think. What did you think of it? Do you want to give a little preface as to what? It's very short. I'll put it in the show notes.
Yeah,
so people can.
It's basically him on. I think it's YouTube Shorts or.
It's on.
I think it's YouTube Shorts. Yeah, or X or something like that. And it's basically part of a larger interview, and he's talking specifically around nonfiction writing. And he says, ostensibly, look, if you told me that a book that was the definitive history of World War II or the definitive history of, something that happened, and that it was good and accurate, and it basically had all of the, it was a omniscient sort of view of some event in history or some, the history of cosmology, or not cosmology, the stars, basically. That's what I'm not trying to say. Not cosmetology. No, cosmetology would be makeup.
Astrology,
cosmology. Anyway, the whole point being, he said, I would be there for that. He said, I would want that book on my shelf. He said, even if it was written by AI, because I don't care ultimately. And I think it's something that you and I have both talked about ultimately, which is once it gets to a point where if and when it gets to the point where the content is good, you don't care. You don't ultimately care that it.
Which, by the way, I think we're already there.
I think in some cases we're there. I think we're in some cases we're there for sure. Yeah.
But I wrote whatever a couple months ago. Content doesn't need a heartbeat, and I fight the battle all the time. I think in my last article I talked about. I just had a conversation with somebody that says no matter what, AI from a content creation standpoint, it doesn't have that imagination or creativity or whatever. And I'm like, why do you think that? Why? Do you know something that we don't know? Do you know you can feel something different? Your bias can feel something different when it's a human, but the output is the output. It doesn't matter.
And here's something I'll say, because this came up this week for me. You and I, and there are a group of people, a large group of people, let's put it that way, some of whom we know, some of whom we don't know, are doing a lot of deeper thinking around this idea of content AI, creating, pressure testing. How do you use AI in the world of content? And there's a perfect example of this that I want to touch on, which is, so I have seen of late a couple of people who I won't mention, but we know who they are. They'll post something that says, hey, AI can, works for you, and it can really give you truly insightful things that no one's ever seen before or heard before, if blah blah blah. And the example was, in this particular case, it's like, what can AI not do that humans do, right? And I know for a fact, because I've made that prompt, you've made that prompt, everybody I know in my industry has made that prompt. And this article that I was reading was basically like, it was a really insightful post from AI that said basically stakes, that the stakes are the thing that AI can't, the human stakes, the human risk. And it's like, I wanted to respond to that article and go, okay, but that response has come, every single person who has prompted AI for that thing has gotten the same answer.
Yeah.
Right. Has gotten the exact answer. That is, at this point, that is not insightful, right? That is, it is like, we get it, right? And it's basically pulling from everybody else's answer of the same thing. So we're getting to a point where insight is basically the observation of what has already been incited. You know what I mean? It's like, so I caution folks when you look at these kinds of things to try and pressure test, and or when you're looking at those things, to use everything that comes out of AI, as I say, with a question mark behind it, because ultimately you have to go find if that thing is already out there, or if that's truly something that's different, or if it's something that's just being regurgitated a million times because people have prompted it for that.
Yeah, I think about that.
AI learning from itself, and that recursiveness is not going to go in a good direction.
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe not. I think that if you see the move, I mean, I'm going through it right now because I'm listening to the book on audio, but with the whole Demis Hassabis story, the Move 37, which was the big move that they made in the Move Go, that the computer that they created was just such an original, imaginative move. The champion of the world just sat there for 12 minutes and didn't have a response. Like, what do I do with this? It was such a new move. It's never happened before. We haven't gotten to that stage necessarily with content creation, or maybe we haven't. We just haven't seen it yet. We will get to a point where new from the stuff that's, where are we at? We're at where we're at. It's taken all this humanity.
That is,
but we will get to a point where it's new and imaginative, and we've never seen this stuff before.
Well, and to your earlier point, I think we're there now. It really is on the onus is on us. That's the key, right? Because there's that wonderful story. I think I saw it on LinkedIn or some other publication. The wonderful story about the how the AI had performed. It was a bunch of mathematicians who had AI basically perform a proof on a age-old mathematics problem, and actually came up with an innovative and really clean, as I think the mathematicians would call it, clean solution for this thing, a clean proof for this mathematical problem that was truly innovative, right? It was truly new. And that was, the article was basically saying, this is really interesting because the AI actually didn't just take what it was, it actually invented something new there. And that's the important thing. But the reason that it was invented something new was because of the expertise of the people feeding it the questions and how it was going back and forth and iterating and talking it through, right? That's the real difference.
Well, and yes, but like if you go back to Go, the reason why it came up with Move 37 is it played the game with itself millions and millions and millions and millions of times and all these things, and able to go through something that a human couldn't ever go through by itself.
Right. That's right.
And they came up with new moves that had never been thought of because of that.
Yes.
I mean, I'm assuming we're there. Like, I haven't seen the output yet from a content standpoint, but I'm sure that it's,
it's going to get to my my commentary later.
Good.
When I talk
we'll leave it for that.
Yeah.
Good.
All right. Very quickly here, let's get to our winners and losers. Let's go to winners and losers. And basically, this is where Joe and I pick a winner from the last week of marketing or a loser from the last week of marketing. And would you like to go first, or shall I go first?
So mine is I'll put it in the show notes.
So you're going to go first, basically, is what you're saying.
Well, you caught me off guard specifically because I'm ready to talk about Fox's purchase of Roku, which I think is
no. Hold on,
it's okay. You don't have to follow the show.
Hold on.
You can do. I mean, you lead the programming, so you can do whatever you want.
You are absolutely correct. I stand corrected. I scrolled a little too far in my show notes.
It's okay. We don't have to. We don't.
No. Look. We need to cover this story. I totally.
We don't. First of all,
I got all caught up in this.
We don't need to do anything. We don't need to do anything.
Well, that's true.
We could do a bunch of nothing, and it would be just the same.
Hold on.
Hold on.
I stand corrected. I had a senior moment, and I stand corrected. Okay.
Okay.
The story is going to come to us courtesy of Axios. It is a big story in the world of media this week, which is Fox will buy Roku for $22 billion. Who knew Fox could actually write a check that big? Fox Corporation said Monday it has reached a definitive agreement to acquire Roku in a cash and stock deal. Well, there you go. Valued at roughly $22 billion or $160 per share. The combination would create a free streaming powerhouse by combining Roku's free ad-supported channel with Tubi, Fox's free ad-supported service. It also gives Fox access to one of the largest TV operating systems in the U.S., expanding its business further from content to distribution. Roku reaches 100 million households globally. The deal reinforces Fox's strategy to focus on live TV content and free ad-supported streaming. Fox executive chair and CEO Lachlan Murdoch said in a statement announcing the deal. So the article goes on to talk a little bit more about the details of the deal. Yeah. I know you have lots to say about this. Well, what do you think?
I mean, you could talk about the content all you want. That's not the story to me. The story is the distribution. They have over 100 million households that directly either have the Roku device or they're using the Roku TV. That's a huge deal, because just like we all talk about, we're all scared of these gatekeepers and get our content to the right people. Fox that's their entire business model. Yeah. And for the most part, Fox goes through a gatekeeper. They go through some kind of a cable service or a streaming, or Roku itself. And they're trying to take that out. So their concerns are our concerns. And they go and buy this access to this audience. They didn't have this direct access. And that is a huge win. And I am very surprised that Fox was able to pull this off. They've done it. This is awesome for them and terrible for everyone that competes against Fox, because I'm under the assumption that the next time that you buy your Roku device, and it has at the bottom, says Netflix and Prime and Disney Plus, and it's going to say Fox or Fox Sports or something owned by Fox on those buttons directly, or they have the whole interface where they can litter it with Fox content to get access to it, which will help them with their advertising and their subscription and all the things. So
they make money on that too. They make money on the Netflixes as well, right?
Exactly, they do. And I think that I hate to say this, but we need to be taking a page out of Fox's playbook here and thinking about this, especially now with all the stuff we've talked about in this show. I'm scared. I'm nervous about more and more layers of gatekeepers getting between us and our audience. And
by the way, this is, you think, to quote our Michael Keaton Batman, it's going to get nuts in here. I mean,
we ain't seen nothing yet.
The media aggregation, the rest of this year, especially before the elections, is going to go crazy, right? I think it's just going to go absolutely crazy. I expect 4 more of these in the summer, because everybody's getting while the getting is good, right? Again, I come back to the big tech and big media have locked in on how to manipulate this guy. And so they know how to work it. They know how to work the system, and they will work this system. No doubt about it, because they know that, if another regime gets into the White House, it's a different story. So
I think that boat has sailed. That ship has sailed. I think.
What do you mean?
There's just too. it doesn't matter what administration. There's too much money on the media side and the tech side to stop this train. Like there's no amount of regulation that's going to happen. We just talked about Elon being a trillionaire. I mean, this is
well, you may be
crazy.
right.
I don't know how you stop it. I mean, we've got
if you have a strong
data centers, we've got all kinds of backlash. You got people on LinkedIn that are bashing AI all the time, but I'm like, I don't know if that's useful. I'm trying to figure out what's the world we're going to be living in, and what do we have to do now so that we're happy and successful and have food and those types of things. Not that I want to get that far down the pike, but those are the things that I think of. So,
well,
yeah,
I'm hopefully maybe I'm just a little more naive about this, but
you're more pragmatic than I am.
I might be a little more positive on the change that can happen. You may be right. You actually may be right that we may be past the point where, because we now have, let's be clear, that the number of companies that are valued above $1 trillion, we're getting to the point where the collective value of like the top 10 companies rivals countries, right? And not small countries. You know what I mean? It's like we are truly getting to oligarchy status with the level of money and influence and power that these corporations have. I mean, we are truly getting into the, what is it in Alien, right? All of the Alien sort of series where all those corporations, or we get to, Tyrell Corporation and Blade Runner, right? We get to that size. It's like,
we're not, it's just, I don't know what the thing or the moment. I remember when you and I were talking about politics, and we thought that with the last political cycle, that there would be a moment, like a deep fake moment that would wake everybody up and whatever. And it seems right now everybody's focused on the data center thing, which is a huge issue, like anti-data center and the way that it's affecting communities and things like that. But there hasn't been a thing that's really, because if you look at the data coming out, you're like, oh, well, unemployment's fine, job. You and I've had this discussion. We don't see it. You don't see it yet. You don't see anything.
Right.
So it's just interesting. I'm just wondering when that moment will be, that'll really shake things up. And I don't know what that is.
Well, it may be coming sooner than,
feels close.
It may be coming sooner because you're starting to already see it, right? Where, inflation is now outpacing, yes, we added jobs last quarter, but the inflation outpaced wage growth. So we're actually losing, workers are losing ground. They're yes, we're getting jobs, but they're worth less. So it's like, it just continues to slide and slide and slide, where people who have, investment portfolios or own homes or are old and can, ride the coattails of their 401k are fine. Who cares what inflation is, right?
The 50% of Americans that have some kind of a retirement account are like, these are the greatest times ever.
Right.
Because when inflation comes out, that's where a lot of that money goes to.
Exactly.
It goes
that's exactly
to
right.
Like that.
Yeah, it goes right into the investment
But if you don't, you're really hurting right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's when the pitchforks come out.
That's right. That's right. The young
people,
hopefully,
as the Simpsons predicted, it will. Everything they put on that show comes true.
100%. Yeah.
How does that possible? How do they know? They have the book from Back to the Future.
They do. The Biff. Well, I mean, we are in Back to the Future right now. We've got Biff in the White House, and they just had their casino show. It's like it. I mean, that was right out of Back to the Future. That whole weekend was just like, oh my god. It's like it was like it. If you had said, like, back in 1987, I think that movie came out, something around there, and you had said, hey, in 35 years, this is going to be the reality, you would have gone, what? You're nuts. This is crazy. You're smoking crack. It's like, but no.
Well, I mean, or Mike Judge's Idiocracy, where you have the president of the United States being a world wrestling champ.
That's right.
Like that.
Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, and then they show a picture of that, and then they show the picture out in front of the White House, and you're like, I don't know which one's.
That's right. Fake. Or the sponsorships, where isn't it an Idiocracy where every time the Secretary of Commerce or the Vice President speaks, he always says, "Brought to you by
Rondo." Rondo has electric. We all need electrolytes.
Exactly. All right. Let's now move on to our
now I
winners
gotta
and
watch
losers.
that show again. It's
winners
so
and
good.
losers, where we pick a winner from the last week of marketing or a loser from the last week of marketing. Now, are you ready? Now, are you ready to do this?
May I go first?
Yes, you may. Please.
Carvana, like love them or hate them, came out with they're buying Stellantis dealerships. Stellantis, I believe, owns Chrysler and a couple other. And they, instead of you going and buying a car from a salesperson, it's like a experiential thing where they've got the Jeeps up on rocks and there's just a place to test drive.
Okay.
And they've got it's like a park, experience park that you go in and you see all the cars you go in, and only people that work there are hourly workers, and you go and do a test drive and you love whatever, but there's no pressure to buy. And when you want to buy, you buy online. Now, traditionally, Carvana has been mostly used cars, but now they're getting into this new car thing. And apparently they went from, so get this. They did one store. There was one store in Casa Grande, Arizona, that went from selling 30 to 50 cars a month to changing over to this model to more than 700 new vehicles last month.
Wow.
And they changed just the whole feel of it into like a playground for cars instead.
Yeah, it just tells you how broken the buying a car process is or was, right?
So that maybe they found something. Again, this is all marketing. This is all your thing about experiential marketing and things like that. But so now Carvana operates 7 Stellantis dealerships, but it's the same, and they're trying to buy more. And I think because they've got this, they're this e-commerce juggernaut, they've had all that figured out, and they just say, well, okay, we're going to take, it's almost like fixer-uppers. We're going to take these dealerships that are struggling for a cheaper price and like just sell the crap out of them. Yeah. Because they're all buying online.
It's the Apple Store, right? I mean, you basically, they're creating the Apple Store is what they're doing.
Exactly right. And it's just absolutely brilliant, and hats off to them for just thinking a little bit differently about a model that needed some updating.
Yeah. So that's really interesting. Really interesting. All right.
What do you got?
I am going to, mine is basically a winner. And it is, we'll link to the show notes. So, this week, there's a video that just came out from Publicis, and it's just, you should go watch it. It's just great. It's basically, are we asking the wrong question? And it's done as, it's 7 minutes, 7 minutes, and it's just wonderful. Just ahead of Cannes, so it just came out yesterday, I think, as we record this, and the interesting thing is that the video is basically done like a documentary. So all the people, like, they got bubbles over their faces so you can't see them, and they're speaking. And it's basically that, what you see is all these pitches to clients coming from the big holding companies. And they're, obviously taking a shot at WPP and Accenture and, Omnicom and all of that. They're taking a big swipe at them. And it's all these pitches like, use our AI platform and cut 80% of your headcount. And then they cut to the client going, you're going to cut me? It's like, and then they're, use our platform, our AI platform, and we'll give you $5 million, and all these, it's just this great thing, which is we keep asking the wrong questions when it comes to AI and the way that we're going to deploy AI for marketing and advertising and communications. And at the end, they pull out the, the When in Rome song, promises, that the awesome 80s song. And then they basically say, we're asking the wrong question. It's chef's kiss good in terms of the actual video itself. And it's perfect timing as we go into Cannes, and you got to figure this is going to be their main storyline in Cannes as they go through this. And it should, now, of course, when I posted this on LinkedIn, a lot of people said, and I actually said too, it's like, this is like the Jerry Seinfeld thing, right? It's one thing to take the reservation. It's another thing to hold the reservation, right? So they need to come true on this process and not actually fall into the trap themselves. So we'll see if they can actually do it. But the campaign was it's a big winner for me. I thought it was great.
I saw somebody post the thing, not that the Cavs have a lot to talk about, but something with the Spurs when the Knicks kept coming back. It says it's the one thing to take the lead. The other thing is to hold the lead.
Right. Right.
Fantastic. I have not watched the video. I'll make sure to do that.
That was the same thing as on the Knicks and Spurs thing where people were posting up. It's like, oh, I see the Knicks just found enough points to win the game. These games are rigged. They just
So many
found in the
things.
fourth quarter there were enough points to win.
So
They
many
should have
things.
stopped it in the second quarter. Anyway, all right. So let's get to our rants and raves section where Joe and I got off on a little bit of a rant or a little bit of a rave over something that makes us feel like a trillionaire or something that makes us feel like we're slacking. We are slacking. We are
Slacking.
not near a trillionaire yet. Okay. I'll go first because I like your Sweden
Okay.
school as a way to, this would be a happy moment to end the show.
Okay, good. You give him the
Yeah, so I got
terrible
a
moment. I'll
very
give him the
short
good
one,
moment.
and we'll post this in the show notes, although I think you can probably skip it. But basically, LinkedIn and Adobe this week announced this new AI skills initiative for basically getting your team prepared with AI, and it felt big. It felt like this really interesting. I was like, wow, okay, Adobe and LinkedIn partnering up, and they're going to do this whole school for how do we apply AI in our marketing and our business and all this kind of stuff. And you click on it, and it's one 45-minute class taught by an Adobe person who's teaching you how to use Adobe.
Womp.
Yeah, it's so womp, but kudos to them for getting, the press release right, and to, all the, sort of promoting their own content marketing here. And I guess kudos to LinkedIn. I don't know if they got paid or whatever. I don't know how I'm sure money changed hands here, but I'm not sure how much money changed hands. But basically, it's you can go look at it if you want. But I started down the road of looking at the class, and I'm like, okay, it's a total of like 45 minutes or an hour or something like that. It's like, it does not look that great, but that's my sort of, I guess, a rant, if you will. My longer piece here, just to very quickly round this out, is sort of the Cannes AI new awards. So there's a new subcategory at the Cannes Awards this year, which is being called the AI craft subcategory. So they're basically across design, film, industry, and it's digital, design, film, and industry craft. Those are just the general awards that are there anyway, but they've added a subcategory for each one of those called AI. And if you read the overview, of this, it's like, oh, this is great. It's great because you get this sort of sense that they're trying to get, how the humans are applying the craft of creativity and all this stuff, judgment, discernment, taste, et cetera, to come up with something really cool here. But then they sort of fumble the ball, because if you look at the qualifications for this subcategory, basically it says something that cannot be done without AI. That's the only qualification for the actual award itself. In other words, a human could not have done it without AI. And that's when to me, they lost it. And more than that, it's like, if you look at those two extremes, right? Two tests, right? So one is, did it make the work better? Did AI make this work stronger? Did it make the idea more creative or more impactful? And that's one idea that they sort of say in the intent. And then there's but did you use AI? You have to have used AI, right? And those are two very different things. And it's interesting to me because that's exactly where we are with marketing these days, marketing and creativity these days in business. It's this weird thing where the question we're asking is, did you use AI? Great, good, move along. Were you faster? Were you better? Were you more efficient? Then we've checked all the boxes and we're using AI the right way. And we're not asking, did it make the work better? And I think the Cannes Lion Awards sort of fell into this trap. And the example I used, and this is, by the way, this is an article that's coming out next week that I wrote on this whole thing, which is, imagine seeing a piece of commercial or a piece of film or, video or whatever it is of a guy sitting eating his breakfast cereal, right? And you go, and you submit that for, because you used AI to create it. Does that qualify? Well, yeah, it qualifies because you used AI to do it. But does it really qualify because could a human have done it? I don't know. Even if it was the most amazing commercial ever done, it doesn't really qualify because a human could have sat at the breakfast. They could have filmed that, but they didn't, right? And so what you've done unintentionally, I think, by creating that sort of filter on it must be something that you use AI for that you could not have done without using a human, is that you've made AI the hero. You've made the tool the hero. In other words, you're saying, here's a category called things you couldn't have done without a camera, and you call it photography, right? Or things you couldn't have done without a typewriter. And basically you call it, writing or whatever. And so I get that AI is a little different than a typewriter or a camera or those kinds of things, but it is the expression engine, right? So AI is an expression engine because it can make video, it can make content, it can make writing, it can make, pictures, it can make design, it can do all those. But what are we actually honoring here? Like with this award, what are we actually honoring? Are we honoring the people who came up with a brilliant idea that AI augmented and made better? Or are we making something where basically the only qualification for it is that a human couldn't have done it? So in other words, a picture that has so many points on it that a human would have taken 4 lifetimes in order to do that. And that to me is the wrong mathematics to sort of honor the idea of creativity with. Let's make the human the hero, and basically the tool is the tool independent. And if you buy that argument, then you go, okay, well, this is just a transitory category, is a completely transitory category. Because ultimately, to our point about Sam Altman, and this is where I bring that back in, ultimately, you won't know or you won't care. And so ultimately, this becomes like, did you use a typewriter to create this piece of? No, you don't care that you used a piece of typewriter to create this piece of creative. It was or it wasn't. Ultimately, the same happens with AI too. Did we use AI? It doesn't matter because it was the work good. So that makes the categories ultimately very transitory in my mind. And that's my commentary on it.
No, I love it. You know what it reminds me of is the Oscars and the other awards programs could have said, oh, let's do the best film on a streaming platform. They didn't do that.
Yeah.
It's just best film.
That's right.
Who cares? Who cares what technology was used to distribute the film?
That's right.
We want the best
And there
film.
are awards for best, special effects using CGI, right? You know what I mean? It's like, but they're not honoring the tools of the best special effects. They're not saying, ooh, you used After Effects. You win, right?
That's amazing.
They're saying basically, it doesn't matter. How good is it? How good is the work? It doesn't matter the tool that was used to get there.
You're right again. You're right again. I'm sure. Aren't you part of that group now? It's just, don't you? Do you have to get sign off on saying these things?
I submitted it. We'll see how far it goes. But yeah, I submitted it as my article next week.
All right,
to coincide.
No,
yeah.
I like it.
Yeah,
we need some of that.
Yeah,
we need some of that grit around here. So my rave is Sweden, and of course we love the Swedes on this old market.
We do love the Swedes.
It's like our 10th largest country of listeners. But basically they came out with a thing is after years of being on the forefront of digital learning, they are on a quest to bring more physical books back into the learning environment. And the reason why they're doing that, they have done some testing, and they don't go into detail. I'll put the article in the show notes, but basically it says that there were more concerns about too much technology and too much on-screen actually hampering the learning of the kids, of just basic learning and literacy. And so what they're doing is they're not banning technology. They're just saying we want less. We don't want to have screen time be the whole thing. So they're having some actual school time where it's just written textbooks or just one-on-one. And I think this is great.
Valuable friction.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think that's the point, is that sometimes having all the technology doesn't make the learning better or the learning faster or the whatever. So sometimes the old tools work because it worked on shaping the behaviors we're looking for in the kids. So that's my rave. It's good for Sweden. I'm sure they got a lot of kickback. That'd be a tough one to do in the United States, I think.
Oh yeah. But I mean, where everything's wrapped around the axle, it's like faster knowledge transfer isn't always better knowledge transfer.
What's the goal? Is the goal to use more screens and more technology, or is, back to your tool thing, or is the goal just better learning? Yeah. We want more, and we want our kids to ask better questions.
That's right.
What are they doing? So
that's right. What do you want them to be deep in? What do you want them to really understand? And that gets back to our chat last week about classic movies. It gets back to history. How many, we're losing the interest in the lessons of history because we have immediate access to it, and you have immediate access to some take on history. But what you lose in so many ways is sort of all the different viewpoints to come to, your own conclusions about the lessons that history provide. And without that, it just becomes like, oh, this is, we see this in marketing all the time now. I mean, I can't tell you how much I see these days of and especially it's coming from a younger generation, which is saying like, I've just invented this new approach to actually going out and calling it, growth hacking. And what we do is we go out and we understand our market, and then we build a strategy around it. And then we go out and we do it fast by putting media out there, and it's awesome. And we're calling it GTM motion moves. And it's like, okay, well, you just described the history of marketing in four, like maybe just go read a book. Right. And that constant reinvention is kind of thrash, right? It ends up being a lot of thrash because they're going to learn the same lessons we all did by learning and understanding our history, but they're just going to learn it maybe in down the road, and it's just wasted. It's ultimately a waste of time by not taking the time in the early to understand the basics.
Yeah, I mean, by the way, every one of it's always like a surfer guy.
Yeah,
like
well,
why you have
purposeful.
Something against the surfer guys?
No, that's purposeful. That's right. It's the California. I have a thing against the California because I run into it every day when I go to the grocery store, and there's all the kids out there, and they got their Justin Bieber shakes and their their coffee drinks. My matcha. They got my matcha. And
no, I mean, you're bringing up the point. I just wrote about this. It was called "Why Do I Believe That?"
Yeah,
like just questioning why you believe. If you believe what you believe because it came from another person or a source that may not have been factual, it's your responsibility to go read the stuff and to go back and figure out what's actually true so that you can make them your beliefs. It's not that they're wrong. It's exactly. And I feel a lot of people with AI specifically, and I mean, we all know the people that just rant against it because it's a new technology. It's like, hey, that's fine. You might be right, but where are you getting this information from? Is it because you're fearful because you watched a movie, or like what? Just take in lots of pieces of information, please.
That's right.
That's all I'm asking.
That's all it is.
That's all I'm asking.
That's all it is.
What do you have this week, sir?
I have well, I've got tomorrow, which is more work, and then of course the weekend. It's pretty quiet, I have to say. I'm kind of done with all my I had to create a bunch of videos for the new version of Content Marketing University, which is coming out, I think, in a month or so. Nice. So I'm kind of done with that. And so I might have a nice weekend to watch a little of the footy.
World Cup. That's right. We're trying to get, by the way, everyone, we're trying to get Robert more involved in soccer or football.
Yeah. Well, I joined a pool. I'm in a pool now. So now I have to pay attention because I actually put money down.
Well, nothing like gambling to get you involved in
It's not gambling.
So good for you.
It's not gambling. It's a game of skill.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure with your wealth of knowledge on soccer and how you can pick the right teams.
Dude, I'm literally looking at all the tiles, and it's like it's got little percentages, and I'm like, oh, 90%. Okay, yeah, I'll pick them. 90%. I'll pick them.
Yeah. By the way, for all those people that aren't fans of soccer, this is a really good moment. There's some amazing things going on. There's amazing side stories going on about people coming into North America and the teams, and the games have been fantastic so far. So do yourself a favor if it's on. I mean, by the way, there's 4 matches every day.
Yeah.
So you can usually.
Well, we're done with the first round, right? So second round starts next week?
Yes. So we're still in group stages, and every team has 3 games in the group stage, 3 matches in the group stage.
Yeah.
And then we go on to the quarters, semis, finals, and that kind
of
thing.
There you go.
So very, very good.
Very nice.
Good. And I will let you take it from here.
Thanks to all of you. We really, really appreciate you hanging out, and hope you enjoyed the show. And we will see you again next week with a regular episode. And until we see you again next week, just remember, everybody, it is your story to tell. Tell it well. We'll see you next week on This Old Marketing. Hey, thanks a lot for making it this far in this week's episode, and thank you all for being a part of This Old Marketing. You can check out all the show notes of what we talked about today at thisoldmarketing.com, and it's also where you can leave us a review or a voicemail. We need those reviews and comments on whichever platform you follow us on. And if you haven't followed the podcast, please go do that and make sure you catch the latest and greatest episodes every Friday morning. We're on Apple and Spotify and all your other favorite podcatchers, of course, but we'd love it if you went over and subscribe to us on YouTube. That's right, YouTube. youtube.com/@thisoldmarketing. We'll see you again next week, folks, with another episode of This Old Marketing.